before we hop on in this tier list, guys, if this video gets us to 20,000 subs, I'm doing a Game Pass giveaway for Blox Fruits or King's Legacy. Comment down below what Game Pass you want and lock it in with a like. All right, today we're ranking every accessory in King's Legacy, especially the new ones from Update 4. And we'll see which one is the best and for which situations. Let's go start off with the Tengu Mask. All right, here we go. The Tengu Mask is a pretty solid one. It buffs Devil Fruit damage by 7.5% and has a nice Devil Fruit 10% reduction. Good enough for me to give it a solid B tier. This is definitely a decent accessory if you want to rock out for the Devil Fruit damage instead of like a sword damage, etc., or even if you want a nice combo. All right, next up we have the Biscuit Shoulder. Now this is a rare accessory. It's pretty easy to get. You get it. It's a 5% chance from killing the Biscuit Man. Obviously, it gets 3% sword damage. I'm gonna put it in the D tier. Only 3% sword damage is actually really freaking bad for an accessory. Definitely a hard pass unless you're like a new sword user and it's like the first accessory you got. All right, next up we have one of the new ones, I believe, the Dark Beard Hat. Yes, this one is really freaking OP. It boosts the player's health by 10% and a 25% fruit damage reduction. A very tanky fruit. I'm gonna give it the S tier for now. We might readjust it later. Definitely one of the best accessories in the game. All right, next up we have the Black Cloak. This is an uncommon accessory. What it does is it gives 300 health and boosts all damage by 1%. We're gonna give this a solid D tier. The health is and 1% all damage. You might as well rock out with a more specific accessory for your loadout. All right, next up we have the Blue Admiral Coat. This is an epic accessory. You get it from normal raids in waves 20 to 25 by Triple Swordsman or Zoro, I think. I don't remember. Maybe I was wrong. It boosts 5% health and 5% damage reduction. Honestly, not the greatest thing in the world. It's all right, but I might rock out with the Tengu Mask instead. So we might readjust these later. Maybe I'll do this. I don't know. We'll see. We might readjust things a little bit later in the video when we rank some other things as well. All right, next up we have the Blue Cloak. The Blue Cloak, oh my gosh, is even worse than the Black Cloak. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my goodness, it is so dumb. It's like the Black Cloak, but worse. Jeez, then we have the Green Cloak. Okay, the Green Cloak is just a reskin of the Blue Cloak. Hard pass. All right, next up we have the Blue Scarf. This is an epic accessory. 5% Devil Fruit damage and 10% Devil Fruit reduction. Pretty decent accessory. Definitely as good as the other epics like Tengu Mask and Black Admiral. I think Tengu Mask is slightly better. All right, next up we have the Bubble accessory or the Bullitus. I don't even know why it's called that, but again, I watched only a couple episodes of One Piece. Basically allows you to go underwater. Yeah, that's what it does. So it's kind of like, it's cool, I guess. But I mean, it's technically S tier. It's the only one that does that, but like, why, bro? It's just not, I don't know, man. Honestly, like, I'll probably put it like B tier. Like, it's good for the one thing, but is it meta? No. All right, next up we have the Dark Beard Coat. The Dark Beard Coat gives 5% health and 5% fruit damage. Yeah, it's mid. I would say it's probably better than the D tier ones, but it's worse than a lot of these C tier ones. All right, next up we have the Eye Patch. The Eye Patch is really bad. 150 health and 3% sword damage. One of the worst accessories in the game. All right, next up we have the Flame Hair, which is an epic accessory. 5% Devil Fruit damage, 5% damage reduction. Get it from Big Mom. Again, not the greatest. Solid C tier. Next up we have the Gazelle Mask. I think this might be one of the this might be like the pilot helm. That's my theory, at least so far. If I find a faster one, I'll rank it lower, but I believe this is the fastest thing in the game right now. It gives 15 speed, just like the pilot helmet and Blox Fruits. So far this is the fastest, so we're gonna give it S tier, but that might get adjusted if we find one that's even faster. But this is only good for speed, but that's what it's for, so we'll give it S tier. Why not? All right, next up we have the Hollow Lamp. The Hollow Lamp is 5% sword damage and 7.5% reduction. It's all right. So we're gonna give it a solid C tier. I don't think it's obtainable anymore. It might. Okay, yeah, I think it might still be obtainable. It might be like a Halloween item. So I don't remember. All right, Hollow Shawl is going to be 5% fruit damage and 7.5 reduction. So I believe they're about the same. Put them there. All right, next up we have the Hefty Coat for 10% health and 5% fruit damage. This is, in my opinion, a step above the other ones. This is one of the new items as well. So highly, highly recommended you take a look at this one. All right, now the Hefty Glasses is very similar to this. Actually, never mind. It's minus 10% melee damage. It's all right. Good enough for C tier, in my opinion. If you're facing like a melee user, or maybe if you're grinding, it could be good. All right, next up we have the Horned Hat. The Horned Hat is solid. D tier accessory, 3% melee, 3% just a melee reduction and melee damage. Pretty bad overall, to be honest. Maybe like here. Next up we have the Blue Straw Hat. This one you get from the Village Gunner raid boss. 100 health and 3% fruit damage. It's really doo-doo, guys. Like, geez, might even be worse than that. Not recommended at all. Next up we have the Pirate Necklace. The Pirate Necklace is a rare accessory. It reduces ghost ship, so it's decent for ghost ships, but that's kind of mid. So if you're facing a ghost ship, maybe you want to equip it. Otherwise, not really worth your time. All right, next up we have the Lucidus Coat. Okay, the Lucidus Coat is an epic accessory. 5% fruit damage, 10% fruit reduction. Good enough for the C tier. Next up we have the Night Necklace. This one is a really solid one. It's a legendary. 10% sword damage and 5% sword reduction. Definitely a good one for melee users. Good enough for the B tier. Next up we have the Oni Mask. All right, this is an epic accessory. 10% fruit damage and 7% all damage reduction. This is one of the best and easiest accessories to get. It is in the magma zone, so if you can get this one, I definitely recommend it. Definitely a very, 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 very nice item to get. Honestly, it might even be S tier. All right, next up we have the Pondier Coat plus 12% fruit damage. Quite a solid one if you're going full damage. Not quite the best one though. So we'll put it like maybe B tier. B tier high. All right, next up we have the Red Cloak. Red Cloak is trash. Trash. Please don't get it. It's like a worse version of the other cloaks. All right, next up we have the Gladiator Helmet. 4% melee and 5% melee reduction. Definitely a decent melee accessory. Good enough for the C tier. Next up we have the Sally Crown. One of the better items in the game. 10% sword damage and some speed. Good enough for B tier. Next up we have the Inferno Cloak. Minus 20% damage reduction. Really solid. So depending on your loadout, this might be a good one. Otherwise, might not be that amazing. Next up. All right, next up we have the Sea King Jaw. The Sea King Jaw is an epic accessory with 20. It's really good for Sea King. So if you're facing a Sea King, it's really good. 20% Sea King damage reduction, 2% all damage. So it's decent. But only if you're facing a Sea King. I'm gonna move Inferno Cloak up. I think it's one of the better ones. All right, next up we have what's this one called again? I don't remember. Maybe we'll go over it last. Next up we have the Shoulder Armor. The Shoulder Armor is really easy to get. It's really bad though. It's another raid item. Honestly, everybody probably has it. It's pretty. That's the same. I wanted this. Next up we have the Dragon Necklace. Reduce all damage and fruit damage buff. Really, really nice one right there, guys. Really nice one. I'm gonna give it S tier. Definitely one of the best accessories in the entire game. Next up we have the Stainless Jaw. Let me find my notes on this one. Oh, this is one of the newer ones. Minus 3% sword. Oh my. Minus 3% sword damage. It's D tier. Easy D tier. All right, next up we have the Tomo Taco, one of the best ones in the game. 10% health and 15% fruit. Really, really, really nice one. I'm gonna give it S tier, honestly. I don't know why it's only an epic. Next up, we have the Water Hydra Mask. Minus 30% damage from Hydra. If you're facing Hydras, it's really, really good, but it's only good for the Hydra, so not good enough for S tier in my opinion. And then we have the last one, the Sea King Skull. It gives us is just a better version of the Sea King Jaw. 30% damage reduction by the Sea King and 3% all damage buff. So if you're trying to face a Sea King, this is your best option. It's just like the Water Hydra basically, but for that. And it also gives you a 3% all damage buff as well. So there you go, guys. There is the tier list for accessories in King's Legacy Update 4. Let me know if I missed any accessories down below in the comments. And remember, hit the subscribe button, because if we get 20K subs, I'm doing a Game Pass giveaway for Blox Fruits or King's Legacy. Just comment down below what Game Pass you want.